Hey, Stephanie Essen here at GDC. I have Rob Bartholomew up here with me from Creative Assembly, who's behind Total War. So tell me, Rob, a little bit about the game.
A little bit about the game. So, well, we've most recently been working with Intel on Total War Warhammer 2, which is the second part of a huge epic fantasy trilogy of games that we're making with our friends at Games Workshop. So, Total War, for those that aren't familiar, is a game about real-time battles meeting grand campaign turn-based strategy. So a really epic way of depicting battle across all sorts of different eras of history. And in the case of the Warhammer games, we've put fantasy into the franchise for the first time. And it's been great to work with Intel to kind of bring that to life and to bring more players into the game than we ever have before. So yeah, that's what we're working on right now is more content to support that game that's already come out. And we're also looking forward to a game called Total War 3 Kingdoms, which is based in ancient China, and that's out next month. So lots of Total War all the time.
All the time,
all the
Total War,
time,
all the time.
all the time.
Love it. Tell us a little bit about how Intel has made optimizations and kind of what you're showcasing at GDC.
Yeah, well, we're talking about our most recent public project, which is part of Total War Warhammer 2, and we worked with Intel to build a new game mode for the game called the Laboratory. And again, for those that don't know, within Warhammer 2, we had a race called the Skaven, which are like little crazy rat men.
Little rats, yeah.
Yeah, and they smoke a lot of like warpstone fumes, and they get involved with all this steampunk technology, and so they go kind of crazy, and they build these sort of crazy weapons of war and these machines that inevitably sort of blow themselves up as well. And what we did with Intel was basically say, well, what if we created this environment for players to just pretend they were kind of a Skaven mad scientist and play with all those parameters that we don't usually allow the player to play with. So kind of like gravity in battles, or the violence and the scale of explosions, or ultimately how big their units are in battle. And that's really what the partnership with Intel did for us. We were looking at ways to differentiate 4 and 6 core CPUs, and the best way for us to do that in Total War is the size of the unit. So the number of men, or in our case rats, in a unit is dictated by the number of cores in the CPU, or at least in this mode it was in our partnership with Intel. And by kind of constraining that to this laboratory mode, we kind of built the idea up with the players that it was okay to break the game, so they could play with all the dials and the levers and the knobs to make all of these crazy settings to the game, and then kind of watch it play out. And it might not be fun to play as a game because it's crazy, and it might tank your frame rate, or make your computer kind of like faint or something, but it was all about creating something fun that you could share with your friends, and that you felt like you were doing a really crazy experiment and then seeing the results of it. And yeah, sure, if you had a Skylake CPU, you could see it at a really nice smooth frame rate, and you could turn those knobs all the way up, but otherwise, you can still get some fun out of it as a player who maybe hasn't jumped into purchasing any Intel hardware yet.
So, Rob, tell us where developers can go to learn more.
The best place to go is probably our website. If you go to creative-assembly.com, you can find out more about us there.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and remember to check out the links provided. Thanks for watching.
Hey, I hope you liked this video. If you haven't seen our other videos on the Intel Software YouTube channel, remember to subscribe, and don't forget to leave us a comment. Tell us what other material you'd like to see, and chat with other enthusiasts who watch our shows. See you next time.